Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Buddham, buddham, buddham vande. Dhammang, dhammang, dhammang vande. Sanghang, sanghang, sanghang vande. Buddham, dhammang, sanghang vande. Samanta cakkavalesu atra gaccantu devatam saddhammang munirajassa sunanto sagga mokkadam dhammasavana kalo ayam badantam Dhammasavana kalo ayam badanta. Dhammasavana kalo ayam badanta. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Sakko vujoja sujoja suvajo chassa mudu anatimani. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Homage to the exalted one, the worthy one, the perfectly enlightened one. Dear friends in Dhamma, all of you are warmly welcome. Today we are going to discuss skillfulness that Buddhism says. Everybody likes to develop their skills, especially in our education, we hope to develop our skillfulness. But people usually think that skillfulness depends on outside or about our physical body. That is why always we try to develop our education, wealth and physical appearance. Those are the things that we usually do. Actually, those things are important when we live in the society. Education, wealth, physical appearance, those things are very important. While we are developing these physical or material things, for the real happiness, we have to develop the other things according to Buddhism. Because the main purpose of everyone is happiness. Happiness depends on completely our mental condition. Even though physically we are healthy, even though we have good education, wealth and good friends, if we are angry or if our mind is lustful, then we have no inner peace. That is why while we are going forward in our education and material wealth, we should develop our mind. That is the thing Buddha has explained, the skill that we should develop our life. And especially there is a very special discourse in Buddhism that we usually explain, Karaniya Metta Sutta, the discourse of Metta. There Buddha says, on the path of liberation, he who wishes to achieve real peace has to develop some kind of skills. One of the skills is that our senses skills, the skillfulness in our senses, and also the skillfulness in our mind or attitude or vision. That is also very important. And when we see the world, the people always try to develop their skills to go forward in education, what are the goals in ordinary people? Education, wealth, good appearance. What else that you need to succeed in this life? What kind of things that you achieve? House? Health. Yes, health. Yes, health also very important. Health. These are the things that we usually develop or cultivate in our life for our happiness. Even though we have some things in these things, sometimes they can be changed. They are subject to change. Sometimes, even though people have good education, sometimes they have some mental problems. Suddenly, everything can be changed. And also, even though physically now you are healthy, anytime you can be sick. And also, even though we have a lot of properties or wealth, suddenly they can be destroyed with some disasters. They can be changed. They are subject to destroy. That is the nature of the physical or material things. And on the other side, we completely trust in our physical body. What happens to our physical body day by day? Yes, day by day, our physical body is going to old age. We are reaching some sicknesses, and finally, our life ends in death. That is the reality in our life. In this situation, we can go forward. We can go forward with these facilities. It is not difficult, but the challenge is, while we are going, increasing these things, there are some challenges. Follows us. Then we increase these things. There are some things who are following us. Then we increase these things. What they are? What are the real challenges in our life? As we mentioned before, the old age, sickness, death. Those are the challenges, real challenges. Whether we like or not, this is the reality. And in this situation, people, those who are increasing these things, while they are going forward, actually their happiness, sometimes up to the middle of their life, their happiness increases. But after 40 or 50, gradually our happiness going down. In this situation, we should understand what is the real success, what is the real skillfulness, what is the genuine proficiency that we should increase in our life. Buddhism has explained some teachings, how we increase these things. Buddhism never neglects and gives up the importance of these things. There are a lot of teachings in Buddhism. How we go forward in our education, employment, good health, social condition, how we go forward, Buddha explains some teachings. But the very important thing is how we develop our inner peace. Our skillfulness depends on our happiness. If we are unhappy, actually, even though we have some skills, everything that we have acquired is useless. That is why we should recognize the real path for our inner peace. For that, we should understand, Buddha says, we should increase our skills. What are the skills that we develop in our life according to Buddhism? Yes, mindfulness is one of the main skills that we should develop in our mind to overcome all sufferings. That is very important. In the primary level, what should we do? In the primary level, we should recognize negative thoughts that disturb our peace of mind. There are some negative, unwholesome thoughts that arise in our mind, disturb our peace of mind. All negative thoughts, according to Buddhism, can be included into three. They are, lobha, desire or attachment, and anger and delusion. These are the main defilements. These are the real enemies. We usually think that enemies are outside. Actually, real enemies are inside. That is why Buddha says, it is easy to defeat thousands of enemies at the battlefield. It is not difficult. But the very important thing that to recognize inner enemies who disturb our peace of mind. These are the real enemies that we should recognize. And first of all, as a skillful person should recognize these enemies that disturb our peace of mind. And here, desire means attachment or craving. Anger means ill will or disattachment. And delusion means, it has a very deep meaning. Delusion means the unknowing of the reality. And usually we think that when we experience something with some objects, those objects are outside. Outside objects and people bring me happiness or suffering. That is our ignorance. Actually, nobody can bring us suffering or happiness. We create happiness or suffering inside. If we can understand this reality, we don't depend on outside. We always depend on inside, our mind, with mindfulness. And here, that is delusion. Little by little, we explain those things. And as a skillful person, first we should understand negative thoughts, defilements, unwholesome thoughts that disturb our peace of mind. The next one is, as an skillful person, we should increase positive thoughts. We should develop positive thoughts for our inner peace. If we do something with pure mind, then actually we are happy. With kind heart, with generous heart, if we can do or speak something, it means we are happy. Therefore, keeping our mind in pure and calm, we should do good deeds in our life, physically, verbally, and mentally. Practicing generosity, offering something to others, practicing loving kindness, keeping our attention others, practicing sympathetic joy, living in equanimity. Those are the positive thoughts that we can generate in our life in the name of happiness. And the first thing, as a skillful person, we should recognize negative thoughts. When our mind is impure, we should understand now my mind is impure with craving, anger or delusion. And also not only recognizing negative thoughts, but we should generate positive thoughts as much as we can. That is why Buddhism says, more merits synonym, more happiness. Sukho punya sauchyo. If you do good deeds with a pure mind, physically, verbally or mentally, at the moment our mind is so calm and quiet, we are happy. If we want to see the beauty of our life, we have to generate positive thoughts. That is the second step that we should do as skillful persons. Then, little by little, we go forward. Even though we do some good deeds in our life, sometimes we can't control some challenges in our life. Even though you do a lot of good deeds, as dana, sila, bhavana, generosity, morality, or meditation, some things can be happened in your life. What they are? Your close relatives may be dead anytime. Your close relatives can be separated, can go away from you. And your close friends, sometimes they are friendly with you, sometimes they get angry with you. And also, even though now you are very healthy, anytime you are subject to get sick. In this situation, we should understand how I face these challenges as a balanced mind, with an unshaken mind. Buddhism explains the way how we make an unshaken mind, that nowhere we are unhappy. And for that, Buddha has explained the higher level. There it is very important to understand the skillfulness in senses. Our entire world is our six senses. What are the senses? Eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind. These are the six senses that we communicate with external objects or persons. We should recognize the nature of these six senses. We usually think my eye has been coming from my birth, and until I die, these eyes are certain or permanent, we think. That is the attitude of ordinary people. Our our physical body, our ears, these are permanent, that ordinary people think. But the reality is not like that. We can see our physical eyes, but the eye is not like that. The real eye is not the physical eye. The real eye is invisible. This eye can be seen after we die. Even after we die, we can see this physical eye. But the real eye is the ability to see something. That eye arises when objects are alive. Not only objects, but our consciousness should be here when our eyes are alive. that I arises at the moment. This present I didn't come from the past. This present ability of eyes will not go to future. This eye or ear or body, even though we say this is my entire body, actually this body is alive when we have experienced something to our body. When you keep my finger to this area, my entire body is here. That body is also alive at the moment. Because these senses are very fast, we think all these 6 senses work together. But they are not together. At once, one sense acts. Then other 5 senses are dead. Other 5 senses are dead when one sense acts. The real success, the real skillfulness in our life is that Buddhism says the skillfulness in senses. Buddhism says is ayatana kusalata, in Buddha's language Pali. Buddha says ayatana kusalata, we should create the ability or skillfulness in our senses. What happens to our senses? These senses are alive at the moment according to external objects. These senses are alive when external objects are alive. Even though there are a lot of objects here, if you close your eyes, these objects are not alive. These objects are alive when you open your eyes. There are a lot of sounds around the area, but your ears are alive when you pay your attention. Now, after you came here, a lot of vehicles went here and there, but you didn't recognize them. Even though sounds comes to your ears, if you have no attention, you have no idea about those things. We recognize those things with our mind. Without mind, we can't recognize these things. For example, when you are sleeping, you hear a lot of sounds, but your consciousness doesn't work at that time. Therefore, you can't recognize those sounds. This is the nature of the senses. And here, it is very important to understand our 6 senses and external objects. And again, I am going to explain these 6 senses. Eye, ear. How is the spelling of ear? E-A. Ear. Nose and tongue. N. Yes, tongue. Body and mind. These are the 6 senses, internal senses. What are the external objects which come to these senses? Here, yes, color, yes, good color. Sound, smell, taste, and touch, and mental objects. Touching, mental objects. And at once, only one sense acts. But we usually think that, now you may think that looking at this monk, hearing something, I feel something about your table or chair. We usually think, but at once, one sense acts. Only one sense. Not only that things, but at the same time, the five things work together. They are five aggregates. Five aggregates. Whenever you recognize something through your eyes at the moment, five aggregates arise together. Five aggregates. Five aggregates means rupa or form, vedana, feeling, sanya, perception, sankhara, mental formations, and vijnana, consciousness. These five things cannot be divided. These five things work together. When you drink something, when you drink tea, sugar, water, everything is together. You can't separate. This is tea, this is sugar, this is water. You recognize those things by your intelligence. These five aggregates also like that. When you hear this sound is form. When you recognize it, these four things, other four things are together. That is why you recognize something. This sound, this form, some smell, whatever you experience through these six senses, it means these five aggregates arise together at the moment. Not only they arise, but immediately they cease. But our ignorance, delusion, doesn't believe it. After experience, still we think that incident is happening. That is why you remember something. You remember your mom, your house, your friend who has blamed you. As soon as you remember that incident, you are in that experience, if you are not mindful. Somebody can blame you once. If you are ignorant, you are blamed again and again. When you remember some person who has blamed you, as soon as you remember that incident without mindfulness, you can be blamed again by yourself, not that person. And if we can understand this reality, we can overcome suffering. Our skillfulness depends on how far we are clever in this understanding. All Buddhist doctrines focus on to increase our ability or skillfulness in this understanding. And every moment, when we develop this understanding with wisdom, our aggregates are subject to change into correct way. Then little by little, we trained our mind, then our mind doesn't go to outside when we experience something. It is like when we go to a mirror. As soon as we go to a mirror, we know very well object is here. We never touch the reflection because we are intelligent. We know very well the object is here. Like that. As soon as we experience something through our senses, we know very well feelings arise inside, not outside. That is why Buddhism says, Nate kama yani chitrani loke. there are no outside lustful things. The beauty is not lustful. The beauty is not lust. Lust arises inside. For example, if there is a very beautiful girl here, sometimes when we look at that girl, our mind is lustful. But how about when her mother sees that girl? Is her mind is lustful? No. In this situation, we can understand lust is here. The craving is here. If we are ignorant, our mind is fixed in outside because we have no ability to understand this reality. Buddhism gives us the education that is useful to overcome this suffering or ignorance. And this is one of the things Buddha says that a skillful person should develop. Buddha says, as an intelligent person, with his supra-mundane understanding, should understand these five aggregates. Yes?
Well, let's say if you get hurt physically, you're going to feel pain. So,
sorry?
If you get hurt
yes,
physically, you're still going to feel pain. So is there a way for us to use this to reduce the feeling of pain, even if it's not physically? On the lens here, can you use that? But in different senses, physically, socially.
Yes. Actually, when we listen in some sound, the sound and feeling is different. Okay? Now, when I hit you, you have a pain. Physically, you have a pain. But the physical pain ceases suddenly. But next time, suddenly, we create a mental suffering, mental pain. You hit me. Then our mind is in another way. We have some feelings throughout some external objects. But suddenly, that feeling ceases. But when we recognize that feeling, we recognize those feelings in mentally. And even though some person can hit you, because of that person, the pain arises. But that pain doesn't belong to that person. You believe it?
I understand.
Yes. Sound can be arise in outside, but that sound doesn't belong to that instrument. For example, I can make a sound here. Because of this instrument, sound arises, but the sound doesn't belong to this instrument. Someone can hit you, but that pain doesn't belong to that person. If we are ignorant, we try to bind this pain to that person. That is why suffering arises. Actually, it has a very deep meaning. For example, Mr. Luminda can sing. Because of his sound, his mouth, sound arises. But that sound doesn't belong to your mouth or tongue. That is the interesting thing. The experience arises all of these reasons, because of all of these reasons, but the interesting thing is that experience doesn't belong to even anything. We can have some pain, but that pain immediately ceases. For example, you have some sickness physically. You have pain. That pain suddenly ceases, but you may think that I have this kind of serious illness. Again and again, you are suffering according to your mental condition. Actually, we are unhealthy physically a few times, but mostly we are unhealthy mentally, not physically. And the other thing is that when I hit you, I think you may not get angry with me. But how about your enemy hit you? The same way. You may get angry with that person, but you don't get angry with me. If that pain or suffering arises because of outside person or thing, you should be same way. But it is not like that. Mother, when we were babies, we hit mom. But mother never gets angry. How about when other person hit like that? Yeah? Not only hit, but we can't even touch our mom. That is the difference. And even though actually those touching relates to forms. This forms has a deep meaning, not only physical things. This sound also form. This colors also forms. If we smell something, that is also form. If we keep our hand here like that, that feeling also form. This form is very complex. If you think something, when you dream something, when you are sleeping, you can see something. You can see some colors. If somebody is coming with red color clothes, you can imagine it after you get up. That form also relates to this one. It is very complex subject. However, these 5 things are not away from our experience. Sometimes we may think that these 5 aggregates are here, I am here. It is not true. These 5 things, whenever we experience something, these 5 things is our entire life. That is the interesting thing. When we practice Dhamma again and again, we realize this reality, and gradually our intelligence, wisdom increases. When gradually our wisdom increases, these 5 things develop to correct way. Now we are away from our physical body. When we look at something, our experience is outside. But little by little, when we practice Dhamma, we experience something, we don't run to outside. We contemplate on inside. And then we see only thing. We see only thing that when we are wise, when we are intelligent, throughout practicing this reality, we recognize what happens to our life. Then our understanding gradually increases in these 5 aggregates. Then we see only arising and ceasing in these 5 aggregates, nothing else. Finally, we see only arising and ceasing of these 5 things. This is our entire life. Then we have no problems with outside objects and persons. We realize the final reality in our life. They are impermanence, suffering, and egolessness. Anicca, dukkha, anatta, 3 characteristics. The final understanding in these teachings. Buddha says, as an intelligent person, with his supramundane knowledge, should understand the 5 aggregates. 5 aggregates is the highest education. Understanding of the 5 aggregates is the highest education that an intelligent person should increase in his life. This is the highest skill. The other thing is, Buddha says, as an intelligent person with his supramundane knowledge should understand, should overcome something. There are 2 things that we have to overcome. They are ignorance and delusion. The first one is 5 aggregates, and the second one, Buddha says, ignorance, avidya and bhavatanha. Bhavatanha means desire to becoming. This is a very interesting thing. Desire to become. What is the ability to become to this world again? When you look at something, when you experience something, if you think there is something outside, when you think your mom, when you think your house, when you think your friends, if you think they are outside, you are ready to go back there. Even you die here. Even though you remove your physical body here, if you think those things are outside, you are ready to go there mentally. Not only you will be born there, but you will have a same physical body according to your mental condition. That is why we have been coming for a long time from birth to birth. But we are fortunate, because while we have been coming on this journey, we have generated positive thoughts. We have practiced generosity, virtue, and meditation. That is why we are intelligent. That is why you are blessed. That is why you are so fortunate. But still we are not away from suffering. Why is that? The outside persons and things can change your mind. They can control you. They are able to control you, because we are not completely away from ignorance. We always depend on outside things and persons. All Buddhist doctrines focus on how we depend on inside. Buddha says, dwell with yourself as an island, with yourself, with no other refuge. Atta deepa bhikkave vihatatta sarana no anya sarana. Dwell with this reality, the Dhamma, no other refuge. Dhamma Deepa Bhikkhave Vihara Dhamma Sarana, no Anya Sarana. If we understand five aggregates, as much as we understand five aggregates, we are away from ignorance. And also, our mind is not fixed in outside. It means we are away from becoming. The highest things that an intelligent person with his supramundane understanding should remove these two things. Buddha says, the highest education that an intelligent person should learn is the five aggregates. The highest thing that should be given up by a person who is intelligent with his supramundane knowledge is the ignorance and desire to becoming. This is the place where we should show our skillfulness. Even though you can drive fast a plane with many people, actually it is not difficult. It is not the real skillfulness. Even though you fly a big plane with many passengers, when somebody blames you, you suddenly get upset. If you are skillfulness in these teachings, nobody can disturb your peace of mind. That is why Buddha says this is the real success we should achieve. Then again Buddha says, as an intelligent person with his supramundane knowledge should understand, should develop its equanimity, tranquility, tranquility is correct. Tranquility and wisdom. This is the highest qualities that we should develop in our life. Tranquility or concentration. Concentration. The duration of keeping our mind in this present moment. The ability to keep our attention, awareness in the present moment, mindfulness. By using some meditation techniques, we should increase the duration of concentration of our mind. Not only we concentrate our mind, with the concentrated mind, we reflect on impermanence, which happens every moment, arising and ceasing of our five aggregates. That is wisdom. Wisdom or insight meditation, okay? Insight meditation. Buddha says, if there is something that an intelligent person should develop in his supramundane understanding, is practicing concentration and insight meditation. These are the highest qualities that we should develop in our life, day by day. Then Buddha says the results. The highest achievement of the intelligent person with his supramundane knowledge is knowledge and liberation. This is the result. This is the path, this is the result. This is the thing that you should buy. This is the discount or bonus that you receive as the result of practicing these three things. We can't buy those things. This is the result. When you grow a plant will give you flowers and nuts. These are the fruits. These are the results. When we recognize 5 aggregates, when our education in 5 aggregates increases, we don't like to suffer. We are hurried to overcome suffering as much as we can. Then we give the priority to practice this path. And we try to overcome ignorance or delusion. What is the delusion? When we think something, we think that incident is still happening. When you left the house, if your children were playing, you may think that is still they are playing, but they may be reading some books at the moment, but you are still thinking that they are playing, but they have finished their playing. When you left your house, if somebody was there, you think still that person is there, but now that person has left the house. When you think someone who is very beautiful, who gave you the telephone number, when you call that person, you may think that still that person is laughing, wearing that beautiful clothes. But at this moment, that person may be in the restroom, having a shower. That ignorance brings you suffering or happiness. Sometimes that incident, that ignorant incident brings you happiness. If you are happy in that situation, it means you are not away from suffering. We can be happy sometimes, but if we are happy there, it means we are ready to suffer when those things change. When you call that person, if that person sound is not like that when you saw that person, now sound is different. But we are still thinking that that sound should be the same way. But it is not like that. If we can understand this reality, we are running away from ignorance and the desire of becoming. For that, not only going away, not only running away from the ignorance, but we should have a path. Before we run, we should know where we should run, the path. The path is the eightfold path. It is here in handout. In short, that eightfold path can be included into these two things, concentration and insight meditation. We again and again train our mind to live in the present moment with mindfulness. And not only mindfulness we should develop, but with concentrated mind we should develop, we should recognize, we should contemplate on impermanence. You know, we can see some animals, some little babies, they are living in the present moment, but their mind is fixed in outside. We here practice not only mindfulness, keeping our attention in the present moment with mindfulness, we contemplate on impermanence. what happens to my internal senses at the moment. My senses are alive at the moment. We have no any ready-made things in our life. We create everything at the moment according to our mental conditions. Again and again, we cultivate our mind with this understanding. Little by little, we come inside. Then, finally, we see only rising and ceasing of five aggregates, nothing else. It means we don't depend on material things. We completely depend on this understanding. Among the old age, sickness, death, we don't suffer. Now, our physical body is going to old age, sicknesses or death. We are suffering. What is that? Our mind is fixed in this physical body. This is my body. We have attachment to this physical body. But suddenly, That is why, little by little, we develop our understanding in this reality. And if we have this understanding, our inner peace gradually increases. We can live happily without hate among the people, those who are hateful. We have an ability to live happily among the people, those who are angry. On the other side, we can live happily without mental illnesses among the people, those who are unhealthy mentally. A lot of people in the society, they are sick mentally. Even though they are healthy physically, they are unhealthy mentally. With this understanding, we have an ability to live in the society without mental illnesses. On the other side, we can live happily without longing for sensual pleasure among the people, those who are seeking sensual pleasure. That is one of the skills. On the other side, Buddha says very interesting thing, not afflicted with passion, happily do we live. We are happy like the gods of Brahma realms. We can live happily like gods or Brahmas in the higher realm, mentally. Bearing a human body, physically, mentally, we are the people like gods or Brahmas. And finally, we can overcome all sufferings. The end of the path is no birth, no aging, no sickness, no death. It is sublime liberation. It is the everlasting liberation that Buddha has pointed out. For that, we have to develop our skillfulness day by day. That is the real success in our life. While we are going forward in education, employment, physical health, mentally, we should go on this spiritual path. We have a spiritual path, while we have a material path, earning some money and material things. As intelligent persons, this should be our goal. This is the real path of liberation. Because everything we have as material things are subject to change. In this situation, this is only we have the real liberation. For that, we have to develop our skillfulness again and again. It is very important, the knowledge. Knowledge is very important. That is the thing that you are gaining here. Day by day, you are increasing your knowledge about the path. That is very important. Recognizing the path is very important. At the very beginning on the path of liberation, knowledge is very important. Not only knowledge that we should have, we should reflect on. We have to reflect on it again and again. Reflection is very important. Dhamma reflection. And not only reflection, but we should practice it throughout meditation. Meditation also very important. Not only sit in meditation, but walk in meditation. In 4 postures, we can practice meditation. Standing, walking, lying down, sitting. In these 4 postures, we can practice meditation. The only thing that we should have is mindfulness. Whenever you are in mindfulness, it means you are in meditation. Whenever you are away from mindfulness, even though you are closing your eyes sitting, you are away from meditation. Posture is not important. The important thing is mindfulness. When you do something, if you can do those things with mindfulness, living in the present moment, it means you are in meditation. That is why in the great discourse of mindfulness, Satipatthana Sutta, Buddha says, from morning to night, we can practice meditation in every posture, in every activity. We should add mindfulness to our mind. Mindfulness is the best friend in our life. Whenever we are in mindfulness, we have the real security, safety, protection. Because nobody can disturb at the moment. Mentally. Physically, they can disturb us. It doesn't matter. But mentally, they can't disturb us. Okay. Thank you so much for your good attention and participation. I wish you all the best to go forward on this path day by day with good understanding, knowledge. Not only we should gain the knowledge, but it is very important to think this reality again and again. When you drive, when you are in your room, you can think. When you talk to someone, you can understand, now I imagine that person. Imagine that person, I talk to that person, not the real person. And also the other thing is, we can get the present experience through 5 senses. When we experience something through our eyes, the first experience has ceased. When we recognize something through our 5 senses, the first experience has ceased. We recognize those things through our mind. If we have this understanding, there is no space to attachment. This is the place where we should be awakened. This is the place where we should be inspired with our intelligence, wisdom. Okay, thank you again for your good attention and participation. By the power of all these meritorious activities, spiritual energy that we acquired at the moment, may our departed relatives also receive these merits and may they enhance their spiritual energy. Finally, may they also attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to our departed relatives too. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. By the power of all these spiritual energies, may guardian deities and angels also receive these merits and may they enhance their spiritual energy. May they keep their eye on you too. May they also attain final everlasting happiness. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to guardian deities and angels too. Ākāsattā ca bummattā devānāgā mahiddhikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkantu sāsanam. Ākāsattā ca bummattā devānāgā mahiddhikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkantu desanam. Ākāsattā ca bummattā devānāgā mahiddhikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkantu sadā. By the power of all these meritorious activities, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no problems come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May your all righteous wishes meet with success. Finally, may all of us attain final bliss of liberation, Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dukkham pantā ca niddukkha, bhayam pantā ca nibbhaya, sokam pantā ca nissokā, hontu sambe pipānino. Dukin pelena sat, dukin midetvā, bien pelena sat, bien neti vetvā. Sovin tevena sat, somnas vetvā, nitin mehama sat, suvat vetvā. All the blessings be with you.